welcome to Shift. I'm Elliot, and I am so glad you're here hanging out with me today. Let me ask you something right off the bat. Do you ever wake up at 7 a.m., the sun is shining, the coffee is brewing, but you already feel tired? Not just I need more caffeine tired, but mentally heavy. It's like you're carrying a backpack from yesterday. Inside that backpack is the snarky comment your coworker made at 4 p.m. yesterday. It's the guilt of ordering takeout instead of cooking that healthy meal you planned. It's the lingering frustration of a 20-minute argument with your spouse about whose turn it was to empty the dishwasher. We wake up to a brand new day, but we're dragging the ghosts of yesterday behind us. We're operating on a cluttered hard drive. Well, today we're going to fix that. Today's shortcut is one of my personal favorites. It's the one I use most in my writing, and honestly, the one I've had to learn to use most in my life as a dad and a human who makes a lot of mistakes. Today is all about Ctrl Z, but specifically using it for resetting your mindset daily. If you've ever wished you could just wipe the slate clean and start over without the emotional baggage, this episode is for you. Okay, let's talk tech for a second. On your computer, Ctrl Z is the undo command. It is the safety net of the digital world. If you're typing a sentence and you realize it sounds absolutely ridiculous, or if you accidentally delete a giant spreadsheet column, poof, Ctrl Z brings it back or wipes the mistake away. It's a way to revert to a previous state of correctness before things went sideways. The most important part about Ctrl Z on a computer, it only works on the recent past. It's about catching the mistake in the moment or the session so you can keep moving forward. It doesn't delete the whole file, it just removes the error that's blocking your progress. In life, we don't literally get to undo the words we said or the deadline we missed. I can't hit a button and make my 3-year-old, Lucy, unspill a gallon of red juice on a white rug. Trust me, I've looked for that button. But what we can do is apply Ctrl Z to our internal state. Think of your mindset like a whiteboard. Every day we write things on it: tasks, worries, wins, failures. If you never wipe that whiteboard clean, eventually there's no room to write anything new. It just becomes a blurred mess of old ink. Using Ctrl Z as a daily mindset reset means giving yourself permission to say, yesterday happened, it's recorded, but I am not going to let the feelings of yesterday dictate the actions of today. It's about clearing the cache so your system runs faster today. Let's dive into our first big point: separating the event from the energy. A few weeks ago, I had a rough Tuesday. It was one of those days where nothing went right. My oldest, Clara, had a meltdown because I cut her toast into triangles instead of squares. Then I missed a Zoom call because I forgot to check my calendar. By 6 p.m., I was short-tempered, grumpy, and convinced I was failing at both work and parenting. I went to bed feeling like a cloud was over my head. The next morning, I woke up and the first thought in my brain wasn't, "What a beautiful Wednesday." It was, "Ugh, I hope I don't screw up the toast today." I was carrying the energy of Tuesday into Wednesday. That's when I realized I hadn't hit Ctrl Z. I was treating my life like one long, continuous document instead of individual pages or days. When we don't reset, we engage in something psychologists call emotional residue. It's like when you use a sponge to clean a dirty counter, but you don't rinse the sponge. When you go to clean the next counter, you're just spreading the old dirt around. To hit Ctrl Z, you have to rinse the sponge. You have to look at the mistake, the triangle toast, the missed meeting, and say, "That happened. It's over. I am undoing the guilt associated with it, so I can start fresh." One bad day doesn't make a bad life. One bad hour doesn't even have to make a bad day. You can hit Ctrl Z at 10 a.m. if your morning started off rocky. You don't have to wait for tomorrow to reset. The second point I want to talk about is the power of the new file. There's some fascinating research by Dr. Katie Milkman at the Wharton School. She studies something called the fresh start effect. Her research shows that humans are much more likely to take positive action and succeed at goals when they feel like they're at a temporal landmark, basically a beginning. This is why we make New Year's resolutions or start diets on Mondays. But here's the secret. You don't need a new year. You don't even need a Monday. You can create a fresh start every single morning by consciously using your mental Ctrl Z. Think about it this way. When you open a new document on your computer, it's blank. It's full of potential. It doesn't care that the document you closed 5 minutes ago was full of typos. When you use Ctrl Z to reset your mindset daily, you are effectively opening a new file for your life every morning. I started doing this thing with my daughters. Every night we do a good night reset. We talk about one thing that went wrong. Maybe someone got a timeout, or someone was grumpy. We acknowledge it, we say Ctrl Z, and we literally make a wiping motion with our hands. We're teaching them, and I'm teaching myself, that we don't carry the grumpy into the next morning. It's scientifically backed. When you signal to your brain that a chapter is closed, it releases the cognitive load. You actually have more RAM, more mental processing power for the tasks at hand, because you're not using 30% of your brain to worry about yesterday. Point number 3 is undo the should-haves. This is the big one. This is the heavy stuff in the backpack. I should have worked out. I should have been more patient. I should have finished that project. We carry these unfinished versions of ourselves around like we're waiting for a trial. We think that by feeling bad about what we didn't do, we're somehow motivating ourselves to do better today. But let's be real. Has beating yourself up ever actually made you more productive? When I'm sitting at my desk looking at a to-do list from yesterday that only has 2 items checked off, I feel paralyzed. That's because I'm looking at the failure of yesterday. Ctrl Z in this context means forgiving the person you were yesterday. Maybe yesterday you was exhausted. Maybe yesterday you was fighting off a cold or just didn't have the mental bandwidth. That's okay. Hit Ctrl Z on the should-haves. I remember a time when I was trying to launch a new consulting project. I had a week where I did 0 work on it because the kids were sick. I felt like a total fraud. I was stuck in a loop of I'm so behind. Finally, I sat down and told myself, Elliot, undo the guilt. The week is gone. You can't get it back, but you can have today. The second I stopped undoing my confidence with guilt, I was actually able to open the laptop and write the first paragraph. Self-forgiveness isn't about letting yourself off the hook. It's about giving yourself a platform to actually stand on so you can move forward. The final point I want to touch on is closing the tabs. You know that feeling when you have 47 tabs open in your browser? Your computer starts to whir, the fan kicks on, and everything starts to lag? Our brains do the same thing with open loops, those small nagging tasks or unresolved feelings. Daily Ctrl Z is like hitting close all tabs at the end of the night. In tech terms, when you hit undo, you are often stopping a process that was mid-flow. In life, we need to learn to park our thoughts. I have a friend who's a high-level executive, super stressed guy. He told me he has a parking lot notebook. Every night before he leaves his office, he writes down every open tab in his brain. Call Mark back, check the budget. Why did Susan look at me weird in the hall? By writing them down, he's hitting Ctrl Z on his worry about them. He's telling his brain, you don't have to process this while I'm trying to sleep. It's saved. I've undone the need to remember it. When he comes in the next day, he opens a fresh page. He's not lagging. He's not worrying. He's ready to work. We have to learn to close the tabs of our day so we don't burn out our fans overnight. All right, so how do we actually apply this? It sounds great in theory, but how do we hit the button? Here are 3 simple practical steps. 1. The evening brain dump. Before you go to bed, or even better, right when you finish work, Take 5 minutes. Write down everything that's bothering you or everything you didn't finish. Don't try to solve them. Just get them out of your head and onto paper. As you close the notebook, say to yourself, "The day is done. I am hitting Ctrl Z on my responsibility to these things until tomorrow." 2. The reset phrase. Pick a physical trigger. For me, it's washing my face at night. As the water hits my face, I literally imagine the stress and the should-haves of the day washing down the drain. I say to myself, "Fresh start." I know it's cheesy, I know, but giving your brain a physical cue that the undo command has been sent is incredibly powerful. 3. The 10-minute morning buffer. When you wake up, do not, I repeat, do not check your email or social media for the first 10 minutes. If you do, you are immediately importing everyone else's yesterday into your today. Give your new file a few minutes to just be blank. Breathe. Drink some water. Let the fresh start effect actually take hold before you start typing on the page. So, here is your challenge for the week, if you're up for it. I want you to pick one specific thing from your day that usually haunts you at night. Maybe it's your unfinished to-do list, or maybe it's a specific social interaction you keep replaying. Every night this week, when that thought pops up, I want you to mentally visualize a giant keyboard in front of you. See your finger reaching out and hitting Ctrl Z. Say it out loud if you have to. Undo. Tell yourself that the version of you that made that mistake or didn't finish that task is yesterday you, and today you deserves a clean slate. Try it for 7 days. See if that backpack feels a little lighter by Friday. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on Shift. I hope this episode helps you breathe a little easier and realize that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to hit undo on the stuff that isn't serving you. If you enjoyed this, it would mean the world to me if you shared it with one friend who might be carrying a heavy backpack today. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a shortcut. Next time, we're going to be talking about Control P. In the tech world, that's print. In our world, it's all about making your health goals practical. We're talking about taking those big, fuzzy ideas of wellness and turning them into a hard copy, something you can actually see and touch. Until then, keep it light, keep it real, and remember, sometimes all you need is a little shift. I'm Elliot, and I'll talk to you next time.